The 20 champion last year and the 7th in the English under 20 championships just recently this winter, Slater. So Walker to ride a picture in 2, Mantle in 3, Regis in 4, watch her, Williams in 5, very experienced, Bianca Williams, Rizzo 6, Bradley 7, Slater in 8. Take a while to settle this field. Well, away cleanly and looking very strong already is Williams, moving through and moving away and taking this one by a couple of meters from Renee Regis. Two athletes at the sort of bookending the age spectrum there. Bianca Williams there, 7:29. Well, it's the second quickest time of the day. Very impressive indeed. I'll tell you what, Amy Hunt's 7:21, equaling her personal best in the second heat, by far the quickest of the 4 heats, which are now concluded. But 7:29, that is crisp, and by some margin the second best of the day. It sets things up wonderfully. Let's assume they negotiate the semi-finals well, then for the final. Alison, that was very, very impressive indeed, and she's in good form, is Bianca Williams.
She looked the class act. I mean, actually, when we're watching this replay now, she looked like she reacted the quickest. She actually wasn't as quick out of the blocks as Renee Regis. She had a quicker reaction time, but it's those first 10, 12 strides of Bianca's. It was so smooth, head down, really drove out the blocks and then just almost switched off. She looked so good, right up on her toes. I mean, in the form of her life. I don't want to keep going on about her age, but at the age of 31, she really is in the form of her life this year. A 7:29 clock in, just shy of her personal best this year of 7:20. Renee Regis there following her up, a great latter half for her, 7:45, just outside her season's best for the young 19-year-old.
Well, that concludes the 4 heats. Next event on the track in the men's 60 heats. There it is, confirmation of Bianca Williams' quick time, 7:29. They're going through by right along with Renee Regis and Deanne Walker, the 3 automatic qualifiers. 7:59. Now that does throw the cat amongst the pigeons, because that gets her through, Jessica Mantle, as one of the non-automatic qualifiers. And then it has to be just looking at the non-automatic qualifiers, she is 7:57, the quickest of those who didn't get into the top 3 of a race, and then the others are Blackwood, Gittins and Wilkins are the other non-automatic qualifiers. So what we used to call the fastest losers, but we're not allowed to say that anymore.
Well, there's the top 8 fastest through to those semi-finals. Amy Hunt equaling her personal best. It says an SB, but it's equal PB as well. Saskia King, good run from her too, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see the impact of that equaling personal best for Amy Hunt in the heats. You've got to try and manage the rounds as a sprinter. I know it's only a 60 and she is certainly a 1-2 runner, but you can't. We saw it, I remember 2016, Trayvon Bromell at the World Indoors, he went out and Saka Powell went out super hard in the heats and it didn't come good for them in the end. They ended up getting silver medals. So for Amy Hunt, you've just got to manage those rounds, and I think maybe there it was Bianca Williams that managed the heat the best.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, you know, we keep going on as well about the British Championships and how important it is to take the title here this weekend, but many of these athletes here will have an eye on Appledorn and the European Indoor Championships, and maybe even Nanjing, the World Indoors later on in March. Amy Hunt is one of the few that is just outside the European qualifying. 7:20 is that qualifying mark for the European Indoors. Joyezi and Bianca Williams do have that, along with the likes of, from last year, Dina Asher-Smith, Daryl Nita and Imani Lansaquo, but none of those 3 have decided to take up an indoor season. So it's not just the British Championships that they'll be thinking about in terms of a title this weekend. Somebody like Amy Hunt, who is clearly in the form of her life, she can get that first part of a race sorted. She's certainly the one warming up, or currently in warm down, thinking, I think I look the best there, you know, and I think that's where it becomes, it is going to be a blanket finish. So whether it's you or Tim, good luck with that one, because it's going to be tight.
Yeah, she never gives too much away post-race, Amy Hunt, either. She's always very business-like. Bianca Williams, you tend to get a bit more back from her. So I'll be interested to know what Amy Hunt feels after that heat. 7:21 equaling a personal best. For me at the Keeley Classic last week, she won comfortably, but she didn't necessarily look best pleased with the performance, but running 7:21. I think she wants to be running that 7:15 sort of time to get towards that world indoor qualifying mark.
Yeah, and then when you look at the likes of the championship record from back in 2014, Asher Phillip, I mean, she was an indoor specialist without a doubt. Obviously did an awful lot outdoors and was a vital part of the relay team from certainly that lead-off leg in the 4x1 at 7.09. I mean, that is shifting, you know, and you know, that's where you're going to have to be if you're even thinking about medals. Europe, it's looking really strong this year. Dosso, Svoboda, you know, 7-0 is where it's at if you're going to be winning medals. So, and people like Amy Hunt, you know, at the age of 22 now, she will have eyes set on championship medals and a real opportunity, I think, this year. But she's got to get there first. 7:21 isn't going to do it, so she knows she's got to try and better that in the final, as well as get herself in the top two.
In terms of some of the other events this weekend, Tim, we've spoken about some of the people that might be here across the 60s today. The people that aren't here, perhaps, Lavia Nielsen, Gemma Ricci and Molly Caudry pulling out just yesterday. But there's still a huge depth of talent in that women's 400, and for me that's one of the finals I'm most looking forward to.
No, absolutely. And of course those women 400s are coming up in straight after these men's 60-metre heats. It's the next track event. They'll be on at those women's 400 heats at 8 minutes past 2, so what, in less than an hour's time. The next event, by the way, is still about 7 or 8 minutes away, those men's 60 heats. I'm a bit nervous about talking about who's going to be racing this weekend, because athletes have this luxury, and it's something I'm not wild about. And I've been talking to a few people in the hotel over the last 24 hours, and a lot of people agree. The athletes are allowed to declare their intention to compete 90 minutes before the event. And it means that start lists can't come out until 60 or 70 minutes before the race, which is a nightmare for the media, we commentators, whether it's radio or TV, not knowing the start list until much more than an hour before an event is to my mind, we're thinking ridiculous. And I reckon by 6 o'clock last night, 99% of the athletes knew they were going to be competing today or not. So why not have a deadline, say 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. the night before, where athletes have to declare their intention to compete, and we can get start lists the night before, which is absolutely the norm in major championships, international championships, Diamond League, that sort of thing. You get start lists with a bit of time to work on them.
Yeah, I mean, Scott's got a theory, haven't you, Scott?
Yeah, I think they should take a holding payment of 50 quid every time.
I went 100.
You went 100.
I went, come on.
You two, so mercenary.
Yeah, but
I don't think it should be about money. It should be about personal responsibility.
No, but it's a way that if an athlete knows that they've got to actually part with a bit of cash, and they don't turn up, and that 100 quid is gone, then it goes back into the coffers. You know, British athletics needs a bit of money.
Yeah, well, our coffee fund.
Coffee fund indeed.
Yeah, where is that coffee?
Bag of sweet fund. We've got a few here this weekend.
I've got a little bag of goodies here, actually. I might let you two delve into.
I've got some as well. I won't mention brand names.
What have you got? I've got some cereal bars.
Oh, I got sweets.
Salty nibbles.
Sweets.
It all sounds really healthy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You need that. I mean, last weekend, Tim, we didn't have much, did we? No.
Last weekend we got zilch. I think we brought a tiny bit of food very late in the day. I've got a couple of bananas with me as well, so I'm going to have one. You two can sort of do, what is it, rock, paper, scissors?
Rock, paper, scissors, yeah. It's great to see so many people here already. We've got around 10,000 capacity at the Utility Arena here in Birmingham. Last weekend it was a very energetic crowd, lots of noise. This weekend we got some athletics purists here watching over the 2 days. It's practically a sellout for both days, and when the action starts to heat up as we get towards our finals later on, which is going to be from around about 5 o'clock now that we've got an updated schedule, they will still be here. And one of the great things about indoor athletics, dare I call it short track as it's now being called in some circles.
I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie, but short track.
But you can see everything. It's a smaller arena. It's more intimate. You can see what's happening in the long jump, the pole vault, all from one location very, very clearly, which is a great thing about coming to a meet like this.
Yeah, without a doubt. I love the indoor atmosphere, and I think the athletes do as well, you know, because you know,
there's more intimacy. They're almost touching distance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I agree with you. I mean, why short track? What was wrong with calling it indoor athletics? 99.9% of indoor tracks are 200 metres. There's one or two in North America that are 300 metres, and they're called oversized tracks. But it's indoor athletics, 200-metre tracks. Job done.
I think it's this emergence over the last sort of decade or so, probably even longer, of these street athletic meetings as well, and they're trying to put it all under one kind of umbrella so that you can have a world best, and rather than kind of having these different
but that's
factions.
a different branch as well, the street
Yeah, it
meets,
is,
because they
but
get 150 races,
but they're keeping it as a
races.
short track, so that would come under this short track.
Then that's confusing, because you're saying a short track, as well, as far as we're concerned generally, it means indoor athletics now. But you don't get 200-metre tracks outdoors, so why make it just confuses things, actually, for me.
I mean, what we've been seeing over in the Southern Hemisphere so far this winter season, with the Australians and the New Zealanders all running 60 metres with wind assistance, which you obviously don't get indoors, and those are counting towards the indoor top list. So we're now going to see some rapid times that Australians and New Zealanders have ran outdoors over 60 metres count towards qualification for the World Indoor Championships. Now we've seen, I think, Lachlan Kennedy over in Australia run 6.43 seconds, which is a belting time over 60 metres with some wind assistance. It was legal wind assistance, but that counts towards the top list, and I think perhaps some of the indoor purists over here in Europe have perhaps not
that's
been
just
so
ridiculous.
fond.
That's
Yeah.
patently ridiculous if you can have a 60-metre race outdoors with a 1.9 wind behind you, which is impossible indoors, obviously.
Can we get someone to just put a big fan at the bottom of the start straight of the 60 metres? Yeah, I think the emergence of the world rankings has kind of confused all of that, but we've now got the men's 60 metres.
We have indeed. There's the lineup for the first heat in the men's 60. 4 heats once again. Lewis Stevens goes in lane 2. Cardiff AC athlete. Semi-finalist in the Commonwealth Youth Games a couple of years back. Just 18 years old. Again, plenty of youngsters in this one. It looks like we have a non-starter in lane 3. That would be Williams. Samir Williams of Croydon Harriers seems to be a non-starter. That's a shame. Former English schools champion. There you can see in lane 5 the familiar figure of Eugene Amadadzi, Woodford Green, an Essex athlete, Essex AC athlete from North London, 32 years old now, best of 6.59. Anything under 660 is very, very crisp sprinting indoors. In fact, the qualifying standard for the European Indoor Championships in Appledon in a couple of weeks is 6.60, or you can achieve a qualifying mark outdoors over 100, 10.05. Qualifying for the world indoors is quite a lot quicker, 6.55, or somewhat bizarrely 9.92. That's a high bar over 100 to get to the world indoors. 9.92. How many people ran that last summer outdoors? Probably 10.
Yeah, I mean, we were having this debate over breakfast, weren't we? This, I think, mismatch between the times recognised indoors and theoretically their transfer equivalent outdoors is a little bit bizarre. I wouldn't necessarily have put that I guess, you know, they know at the Worlds how many they want in the early rounds, and I guess that's what they're looking at ranking wise, but yeah,
absolutely.
Like you said, there's not that many.
So let's have a look at these athletes then. There he is, Lewis Stevens goes in lane 2. As I said, just 18 years old, and that those familiar Cardiff colours worn so proudly by many great athletes over the years. Third in the English under 20 indoor championships earlier on this winter. That's a 6.75 that was this winter. Needs to run a big PB, I think, to get into the first 3 here. It is the first 3 who go through by right. Lane 3 is empty, remember. That was meant to be Samir Williams of Croydon Harris. Lane 4, Tyler Panton in the orange there. Junior Relay International. Semi-finalist in the UK Indoors a couple of years back. Tyler Panton, 21 years old now. And then that familiar figure of Amadadzi in lane 5. Eugene Amadadzi, 6.59 his lifetime best. And that was this winter. Amadadzi in fine form. Indeed, he's second fastest in the UK this year. Damoa goes in lane 6. Michael Damoa, Blackheath and Bromley Harriers. Blackheath and Bromley Harriers, 6.82 this winter. Whitehead, lane 7, Bradley Whitehead from Rugby and Northampton AC, 22 years old now, best of 6.71. Anything under around 670 should be good enough to get through here without too much trouble. 10th ranked in the country this year is 6.67. And Teddy Wilson to the left of picture there in that familiar black and white striped vest of Shaftesbury Barnet Harrows, the North London club. He too, just another teenager, 19 years old, 6.66 this winter. He's ranked 9th in the UK as Teddy Wilson. So the youngsters bracket this field. Cardiff man, just 18 years old, Lewis Stevenson 2, and Teddy Wilson out in lane 8. Away they go. Really good start there from Amadadzi. He leads this one quite comfortably at the moment, takes it by half a metre or so, and I think on the near side, Teddy Wilson may be coming through, the 19-year-old, for second place. It was very tight between him and Bradley Whitehead right beside him in lane 7. We'll wait for that confirmation to come through. The winning time is 6.68 for Amadadzi. He looked very comfortable indeed. As I said, he is the second fastest in Britain this winter behind Romel Glave. That's 6.59. Came in Doha, by the way, back on the 29th of January. There it is, 6.68.
Yeah, good one from Eugene Amadadzi, and he's now giving the heart emoji up to somebody in the crowd there, so he looks very happy with his run there. Exploded out the blocks, looked really, really confident, and it was the youngster, 19-year-old Teddy Wilson, who did get the nod, confirmed in second place, 6.74 on our list, and really threw himself at the line. Good running from Teddy there. Quite interestingly, overnight as well, we had a performance from Joe Harding over in Arizona, equaling that time of Eugene Amadadzi, 6.68. Obviously not here, he's based over in the States. But yeah, you're just looking at the replay there. Eugene had time to look left, look right, make sure he was comfortable, shut off the burners, and is getting ready for the final already.
I think we'll be happy with that. 6.68, good time. He's somebody that is so powerful out of the blocks. He should be a great 60-metre runner. Perhaps hasn't had the sort of success so far in his career that he would have wanted.
There it is, 6.100s between Amadadzi and Teddy Wilson. They were first and second. Bradley Whitehead goes through by right to the semis, 6.75. Lewis Stevens and Mike DeMar, we'll have to wait and see if those times are good enough to get them through.
6.68 quality time, looks so smooth, and he's set the bar high for the other 3 heats. We will go from 4 heats to 2 semi-finals later on, which means it will be very cutthroat for the athletes later on. You've got to try and get out well and get one of those middle lanes. This is the second heat lineup, though. 2 names that will be familiar for you. Jeremiah Azu, Olympic medalist from Paris last summer. Oji Edeburan, he likes Birmingham, medalist at the UK indoors last year. Commonwealth Games gold medalist. He ran the last leg in the 4x100 in Birmingham almost 3 years ago. So those are the 2 names that we'll be looking at here to get amongst those top 3 spots. But keep an eye out for Jordan Watson-Brown as well. He's been in good form and will perhaps figure towards the back end of the race. He's a 10-3 man outdoors and semi-finalist here last year, so we're expecting big things. We weren't expecting to see Jeremiah Azu here this weekend. His brother is making huge strides forwards in his sprint ability, and we'll see him in the 200 metres tomorrow. Jeremiah won the Welsh Indoor Championships last month in Cardiff, and he was the first Welshman to win this title last year. Picked up an injury in his final race ahead of the World Indoors, so unfortunately had to drop out. He was in such good form and ran 6.60 to win the title here last year. So well, the man on the inside then, Ezekiel Lowe, lane 3, 24-year-old from Sale.